Paul said faith without deeds is dead, but that is directly backwards. Deeds without faith are dead. What if you want to be still and know that He is God? What if you do that? Your faith is perfectly intact. In fact, your faith doesn't die until you decide to take it into your own hands and force your own outcomes. Your faith has just died. So Jesus preached grace through faith. Paul, grace through deeds. I'm going to listen to Jesus. I'm not going to listen to the apostle who never even got to meet him. There's a lot of stuff that Paul has done and said. I think about it. I think about what he has said very much. I care. You know what's interesting? He was a tent maker. My own father was a tent maker. Grew up in a Catholic school. And wow, a do-it-yourselfer, that is a man who can do any deeds. That's a man's man. I'm not a real man like that. I'm a writer guy. I'm the correction that needed. We started with a very legalistic Bible. The Old Testament it's full of do's and don'ts. Jesus came along and pretty much upended that whole idea. You know, after there's at least a developed society, he seemed to be right on time. And he told us grace through faith. I see our culture seem to be at odds with like the idea of self-improvement versus self-acceptance. And at some point, I do think if you've really tried at your self-improvement, accepting yourself might be the next best way to improve yourself. It's also probably easier to accept yourself if you actually improve yourself. So I have found it very hard to not do. I always want to do more and more. I want to like be the good guy. I want to be of service or something. I previously wrote something about like that it's better to love than to be loved. And well, I think so. But I haven't really felt very loved for a long time. So I started thinking about how that would feel and stuff. Well, I've known it in moments and it did matter a lot to me. But I feel it very constantly from God. Khalil Gibran wrote something that I've been thinking about all week, as I've really allowed the worst of myself this week, but instead of fighting it, he said, when you say that you love, say not that God is in your heart, but that you are in the heart of God. High performer, people-pleasing types always get the goalpost moved on them, but I do think it's those who constantly try to improve themselves, not knowing they're good enough, who might have this great gift of self-acceptance waiting for them upon the realization that they are actually good enough. Because you've made yourself good enough.